Okay, so we are going to get started. Before we get started, I wanted to say that for those who are interested about meditation, I'm conducting a weekly meditation Sunday. Every Sunday morning, I'll be conducting an online meditation, which some of you participated even today. There's an online meditation on Zoom. So if you are interested, you can participate, but you need to register here. There's a post, register for Sunday meditation class. So we do Anapanasati and then the walk-in meditation. So that way you are at least continuing this meditation, not just you come for a retreat and then you go home, you fall back to the earth. So you are continuing, you are maintaining your meditation practice. That's one thing, if you would like to participate. Sunday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Every Sunday, Malaysian time, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. is the time for this meditation. I normally conduct wherever I am. All right, I'll put it like this. Okay, so we are going to start off Q&A. So I got a bunch of questions. So we will start from this question. This morning when we were doing the guided meditation on Anapanasati, why are we doing Vipassana meditation instead? Is it that to do Anapanasati we have to start with Vipassana meditation? The answer is, there is no meditation called Vipassana. Are you confused? Huh? In early Buddhism, there is no meditation called Vipassana or Samatha. Buddha never identified his meditations as Vipassana or Samatha. He did not divide. This division comes from the Pali commentaries and especially from the 17th, 18th, 19th century Burmese Vipassana movement. Because we cannot separate them. They are part of our meditation. Calmness part is samatha, then watching part is vipassana. Isn't it? When you try to calm with anapanasati, the calmness part of the meditation is anapanasati and samatha in their own way. And then vipassana means you are trying to watch the arising, samudaya, then titi means the existence of that particular thing, and then vaya dhamma passing away. But this precious meditation has been separated by certain movements. That's why you have some complicated ideas about meditation. Plus, when you look for a meditation practice, you normally see many Vipassana retreats everywhere. So you get confused. If you look it up on internet, meditation, let's search it here. Meditation practice. Even you find it in courses. You can mostly see many practices are coming from, they are from your country, mostly. See, Vipassana meditation. So, who knows about these things? Yeah, see? Dhyana meditation. Yeah. That's why we have to learn how the Buddha explained about the meditation. He said, Anapanasati, and then that Anapanasati, you can, if you are interested, you can bring that Anapanasati onto metta practice, karuna practice, mudita, upekka. Gratitude is mudita practice. So we're going to shift the focus from that calmness onto that one. So every time when we are doing the meditation with certain watching, that is vipassana. So there is no particular separate meditation called vipassana. But with these recent developments in the couple of centuries before, from today, they have brought up this as a separate meditation. Scholars argue it is because of the colonialism. The country was colonized by the West, and then the senior monks, they wanted to show that Buddhism has some radical claims and something much more than the Western enlightenment. Even in the Western schools, even today, they say the Eastern philosophy, it does not have any weight. They don't have radical claims, right? And there was one gentleman from the Yale University wrote a book, Why Buddhism is True. In that book, he's kind of book that was written 6-7 years ago. In that book, he shows how Buddhism is bringing radical claims like anatta. There is no self. The Western enlightenment is based on there is a self, and that self is operating. So, but the Buddhism says there's no self as well. So it is said that the Vipassana meditation as a separate school was brought up as a response to the colonialism that was prevailing in that particular country. But we don't want to worry about that. That's history. But I want to encourage you to learn the true Buddha's meditation, sati practice. That is what you are supposed to learn. So, we do Anapanasati. Anapanasati has both samatha part, samatha quality and vipassana quality. Second, when we are on the 8 precepts, can we consume solid water, Nescafe Milo after lunchtime? Or 8 precept means we can only drink plain water after lunch. Please advise. All right. So I don't think we have to go very serious like this. I normally say if you have a medical condition, you can have something. You can have a snack, otherwise you will run into some issues. But normally what it says is that you are not going to eat some, what you call, eatables. That is the main thing. That is how we're going to look at it, right? Otherwise, I think these should be okay because you have to survive first to practice the day, right? Otherwise, you're going to be in a big problem. So it should be okay. Don't worry. How do we appreciate the unfolding of universe in front of us rather than getting stuck into expectations and to our judging mind? Universe is such a very bigger space. I don't know what you mean by unfolding. It is such a very huge space. Do you know the story of Rohitassa? This is a sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya about universe. In this story, a deva called Rohitassa approaches the Buddha and telling the Buddha, Bhante, in my previous life, I was a very powerful skywalking ascetic. He could walk in the sky with levitation as a result of the samatha, what you call jhana practice. It's a Hindu practice, not a Buddhist practice. So he could walk the sky. So one day I thought, I want to go to the end of the universe. Nice idea, right? And then what he did was, he only stopped for washroom and eating. The rest of the time he kept walking. It is said how strong his stride was, pace was, when he set one foot in the Eastern Ocean, the other foot was in the Western Ocean. Don't misunderstand that he's talking about this earth, right? These are oceans in the universe, not the Indian, Atlantic, Pacific, Arctic, those oceans. They are much, much bigger than those oceans. So, Bhante, what happened was that halfway of my journey, I passed away without finding the end of the universe. You think about, like, now, in order for us to go to the other end of the world, let's say you want to go to Hawaii from here, maybe to Auckland on the other hand, it takes at least almost 1 day, right? Luckily, if you can get a short time layover somewhere. But what about somebody who says that he set one foot on the Eastern Ocean, the other foot was on the Western Ocean? That was a very fast, quick, swift walk, even in the sky. Then the Buddha said, the real universe or the world is not available outside the body. The real world, universe, exists within the body. He is referring to the internal world. He said, in this 1 fathom body with sanya, I would say consciousness, I tell you there is the first noble truth, second noble truth, third noble truth, fourth noble truth. That means, where is our Nibbana? You are trying to attain Nibbana, right? With all these practices. Where is it? At Buddhist Mahavihara? Or somewhere else? Or maybe in the forest? Where is it? It is lying in this one fathom body with consciousness. What has happened to that? It is there, but it's covered by lots of ignorance. Now even scientists are asking long time ago, only certain amount of cells are active in our brain. What if all the cells are going to be active in the brain? You could say he or she must be a smarter person at that point. That means lot of neuro things, they are not active because we have not awakened us. That's why when they find out someone who is meditating well, they want to bring that person to an MRI and see how is the situation with that person's brain. So the Buddha says the real world exists within us. So, but when you say appreciate the unfolding of the universe, we are supposed to appreciate everything. In the meditation here, we said we are grateful to the universe. Why is it? Because of the universe, at this condition level, we are able to survive like this. So we are grateful to that universe. And then I think your second part of the question is that, yes, so while we are understanding there is a universe and we appreciate that universe, at the same time, we should not get stuck into our expectations too. We have expectations, we have ambition, we have plans, but we should not get stuck in those expectations. So both are important. Are you asking which is better? How do we appreciate the unfolding? Yes, we can appreciate by looking at what has brought us, what the universe has brought us so far in our life. Maybe our basic needs, maybe our happiness on that side. On the other hand, we are also making expectations in our life, maybe good expectations, but not to get stuck in those expectations. I think both are okay. Both have different ways to approach. Is it what you expected? I don't know who asked this question. Anyways, pseudonym, anonymous. Okay, my concern is I don't what can do to help my mom and my sister while they are being lost the gratitude, the love, the compassion, the merit to each other. I cannot just see they are suffering, but I even don't know what to do to make them realize the value of gratitude when we are having a chance to be a family. Could you give any advice? I don't what can do to help my mom and my sister while they are being lost the gratitude, the love, that means you understand that your mother and your sister sometimes they get lost in this gratitude practice, the love and compassion. I cannot just see they are suffering, but I even don't know what to do to make them realize the value of gratitude when we are having a chance to be a family. Okay, I think you can approach, if you think that they are not easily convinced, you can find out different approaches to have a conversation. Sometimes family members, they keep their own boundaries, so you should know how to approach them. They may like a certain way to be approached. If you know that approach, you can approach them. Sometimes they might not listen to you because they know you for a long time, right? It's like a husband is going to teach wife how to drive, right? It's not going to work, right? Or the vice versa. So you might think about what could be a best way to approach in this case mother or sister, maybe different approaches, maybe they are through their friends or something like that. So it's a very individualistic question. So if you know the approach, then you can slowly insert these ideas as much as you could. But I cannot give a very specific answer because I don't know the specific things in this question. But what I can say is change your approach to insert those good ideas: compassion, love, gratitude. Why are some parents not real and always looking for supply from one child and later betray the child by bad mouthing in Buddha's perspective? Kindly elaborate. Why are some parents not real and always looking for supply from one child and later betray the child by bad mouthing? Okay. So this can happen, right? That's why I said yesterday, there are different parents. I hope that majority is good. They have their own attitude, own perspectives. To understand why, we have to think about many factors. Maybe their background, maybe how they were brought up, maybe their environment. So there may be many conditions that brought them to that level. Sometimes, parents cherry pick one child and then they don't value the other ones. As we said yesterday, sibling rival is going to start at that point. These things can happen. So what you can do as a follower of the Buddha is, you just do your responsibility to your mother and father. Don't involve too much with them. If this is the case, do your part, and you are not going to be able to change them, especially those parents, because sometimes they are very embedded in that thinking, right? But don't have a negative attitude towards them. Just be pity on them, right? Now, there is something in the Dhamma we say, when we cannot change people, when we don't have to change people, when people are not changing by themselves, you wish wisdom for them. May wisdom arise in them. May wisdom arise in my mother, father one day. If not in this life, then one day in their sansaric life. But what is important is my Dhamma practice at this point, to do it properly in the first place. If possible, you do something for your parents in a better way. At least something for them, if possible. You know their attitude, you know how to work with them. If possible, you can think about some help for them. Maybe they trust someone else outside the family, maybe through them. So you have to think about how they are going to be approaching them, right? Yeah, so bad mouthing, this can happen. Insecurity. Sometimes you may have seen that parents are getting benefited from one child, but when they are talking to other people, they are bad mouthing about the one who is really helping them. This can happen. It could be not everybody. This could happen. So you have to practice a certain level of metta for those moments, because you can't change them. Plus they are very old, and then they are not going to be changed. But do your part and try, if you could, do something for these parents one day, right? Narcissist people are self-centered. Family members know how to move on in life. Since they are abusive, should they be reported for abuse, or we should silence for ourselves? Yeah, there are certain narcissist people everywhere in the world. So we all are self-centered, more or less. So again, the approach, how to deal with them. The first thing is that you have to make sure that you are safe with them, your life is safe, and then making sure that safety, you can think about how to work with them. Definitely there is some support, a lot of support for the people who are getting abused. You can think about what to do, and you have to always think about what will happen if you report to the law enforcement. There are repercussions, right? You might lose people in your life. They might be jailed for many years. But if the situation is very uncomfortable, getting very worse, and there's no other help, there should be a way to go out of that situation, right? So that thing you have to decide depending on the intensity of the problem. Otherwise, don't go to that big step in the first place. It's like a divorce, huh? Just because of a small minor thing, you go to the divorce. Right? That would be something, maybe the the worst case scenario. So we have to consider other options. How to move on with them? So making sure that you are safe, that's number one. And if you are in the same household, think about how to deal with them. If things are getting worse, you may have to move out, probably, because they might not be listening to you. And then think about what could be the other things you can do just to protect yourself and also for them too. No, we should not be silent about these things. Huh? Why are we needing to be silent? Something worse can happen to us one day. Can you explain why are narcissist people, again, narcissist people, same person, two questions. Narcissist people taking advantage of kind human beings in Buddha's perspective or teaching. So why should a person remain kind? Take the example of the cobra who took the precepts. Huh? We should not be vulnerable to anybody in our life, but we are responding to them in very kind ways, making sure that we are safe. There may be different reasons. Maybe their upbringing, how they were raised, maybe a bad experience. If not, maybe something coming from the samsara. There are different motives, different reasons why people are as such. Why should a person remain kind? Yes, we are all supposed to be kind, but we should not be vulnerable to anybody. Right? At that point, those narcissist people come and sabotage your everything at that point. That's not good. Right? Can you share on trauma bonding child with an abuser? What Buddha says about the next step for the parents when the abusers are in control and strong influence to the child? Yes, definitely this is a legal question at a certain point. So you have to know how to protect are you asking that the abuser is from outside the family or maybe inside the family? I don't know what do you mean by that. Can you share on trauma bonding child with an abuser? What Buddha says about the next step for the parents? That means the abuser should be from outside the family, right? So you should definitely take necessary steps to stop this happening, maybe protect your child. And you are asking what the Buddha says. Buddha says this is wrong. This is a wrong activity and you have to protect those people if you can, right? The only thing is we have to be compassionate and then help that family to save the child from being not continuously being abused by that abuser. That is the first thing. And then to give some spiritual support. When something like that happens, the child is going to be very traumatic and thinking about what happened. Maybe he or she will reject everybody at that point. So to give some spiritual support, that is what we can think about. But all have to go very personally, this kind of a situation. There are other social problems going on with this. It looks like 3 questions coming from the same person. Why are the unkind and ungrateful people greedy for inheritance without equally sharing the wealth, inheritance all in the family of beneficiaries from the family? So what kindness, what kindness to practice? Asking me, what kindness to practice? Now inheritance has come, but there are other siblings who are not equally sharing. there are different people. Like people are greedy for the money, right? By default. So again, it is a legal problem in a certain way. That's why the Buddha said for the parents, you must make a will properly. He said in one sutta, Pattakamma Sutta, right? Everybody, let's say you are becoming a parent, you must make a will with terms and conditions. You have couple children, then you must equally do set apart. When they don't do that till they die, then children are suffering from all these issues. This question would have not come from anybody at that point. Then the Buddha says, everyone should be concerned that their wealth should not be gone to displeasing heirs. Sometimes you know that you are not making a will, and then your inheritance will go to the government and to the displeased. You don't like those people, then why don't you write a will? Right? So, do it. So, the Buddha says that we all have to create a smooth transition in regard to our wealth before we die. Don't just say life is anicca, so I'm going to die one day. We all are going to die. That is not a very big thing. But before dying, we have to make sure our wealth will be properly, smoothly transitioned to the next person. Properties, wealth, everything will be smoothly transitioned to the next person. That is a responsibility of a lay person. If they don't do that, that person will be blameworthy. We call it no pattakamma, apattakamma. The Buddha said in the Pattakamma Sutta for the lay people, you must do it. So now you are talking a situation that arose because the parents did not do it. So at that point, how to find an answer? Well, I don't know how the legal things work at this point. Probably it's about inheritance. So you may have to work with those people, maybe lawyers and those people, how to properly find kind of a fair justice at that point. Otherwise, we have no other, because they are not spiritual. Nobody's going to be spiritual with the money at this point. They are very money driven at that point. That's why we ask Buddhists who are following Buddhism, they read these precious teachings and, plan your life. Plan your life properly. So then your children are in the safe hand after that. How to remove a trauma, again, I think same person, a bonding child from abusive grandma. Is it? What are the Buddha's perspective on abusive grandma? Is it correct? Yeah, grandma. Abusive grandma and betrayed. Bonding child. So why don't you separate the child from the grandma? If the grandma is abusing the child, why don't you take the child away from her? Why do you let her continue the abuse? Simple, right? Mostly this abuse happens not from outsiders, strangers. Abuse, rape, bullying, all these happen from the family. Because strangers not easily can come. It can happen, but normally it doesn't happen. So we have to keep an eye. If you are a parent, you have to keep an eye on your child, whether my child is going to be abused by next family members, right? I remember in Sri Lanka, 7-8 years ago, the school educators, they were going to input this idea in the school textbook. They were trying to make a book, sexual education. So in that, teachers are now, they are supposed to teach, keep an eye on your relatives, family members. So then there were people, they were rejecting the idea. How come you are saying our uncles and aunts are all predators? Don't say our uncles are good uncles, aunts are good. They are not going to abuse our children. So they had to remove that part from the book. And then even the course was taken out. No sexual education. Anyways, there was a big conversation. Some monks, they didn't like it. They say, no, we have to, make the safety. Anyways, so what I understand is that, what I can say is that when you are letting your children to hang around with your family members, you should keep an eye. In my retreats, I found there was one person who came up to me, and then she said that her daughter was abused by the grandfather, her father. Now she has an enormous hatred towards her father. Now what to do? So my primary question was, why you let that happen? No, I was busy, I was working, so I could not take care of my daughter, right? So that's why you have a role. Parenting is not just giving birth. You have to keep an eye on the physical, emotional, mental health of your children, so that this question would have not been asked. That means the short answer is take your child away from this grandma. That's the only answer. When a person died and reborn, the person became a totally new person. Question: what is the link or connection between a person's current life and the person's rebirth? What do you mean by a new person, new life? That person is getting a new life. But when we pass away, we are carrying our good karmas and bad karmas to the next life. But every time these good karmas and bad karmas are being processed for maturity. Let's say someone is dying now, that person's good karmas and bad karmas are being processed for maturity. That's why the Buddha says you can do a bad karma, but when the bad karma is going to ripen, then you will experience the results. Right? I remember Uppalavanna, the Bhikkhuni Uppalavanna, Araham, she was raped by a man in the kuti, and she was dragged to the hell at the same time. And people will do, but then they don't expect the results. But when you do a bad thing to a very good person, results are immediate. Very immediate. Now don't think that I can do a bad thing to a immoral person, right? But they are on the way. So what I was trying to say is that our good karmas and bad karmas are always changing for maturation. But they are getting processed. So we cannot say even the good karma, bad karma are permanent, because they are being changed. Let's say someone does a very good karma, but later on today, coming up with an idea, bad idea, oh, I wasted my money. Now, the morning he or she has been making a lot of good karma. Evening, this random thought came up. Then at that point onwards, that good karma, the effect of that good karma will be kind of weakened. You are mitigating that good karma, neutralizing that good karma at that point. Right? So then we cannot even guarantee the good karma, the process, the future of the good karmas if we don't maintain them. Remember, there was a story in the Sutta text. One man, at that time at Jetavanarama, there was a monk who is taking the dana appointments. What was his name? Bhante Mahapantaka. Bhante Mahapantaka. That was the monk who was taking the appointments for the dana. So he had to change a dana date of a devotee. So he called that devotee, asked him. He said, we have to change the date because we are going out somewhere. Then he said, okay, you can change the date, but on one condition. Now, for that particular date, I think I will be creating a lot of good intentions, good chetana. Do you guarantee that I be having the same good thoughts, intentions for the date that you are suggesting me? Bhante Mahapant, that's up to you. That's not my thing. I just changed the date. Then Bhante Mahapantaka said, no, it is you. You have to develop, maintain your good intentions. Some people, they are very happy. Dana and dana, right? The temple is going to change your dana date. Okay, so dana plus dana, right? Because change the date. Sometimes you are not going to be doing it. So the answer to this question is, you are asking how, what is the link, connection between the persons? Yes, the link is that you are bringing, you are changing good karma, bad karma onto the next life. You are bringing, but they are always being changed, process in the activity. What is the process? After how long is a dead person reborn? There is no interval. There is no interval between the death and the rebirth. It's an instant. You are reborn. There's no intermediate state. Like in Tibetan Buddhism, they talk about bardo. Mahayana Buddhism, they talks about interval, but in early Buddhism, there's no interval. You are instantly reborn somewhere. Right? Is there a specific time to stop taking solid foods? Again, the same question in different way. Is there a certain specific time to stop taking solid food on the day of taking the 8th precept? Is it by 12 noon? Can it be 12:30 or later? So Buddha didn't know this 24-hour clock, right? There was no 24-hour clock at that time to see, okay, 12 o'clock, right? So this is normally taken by sunset, the midday of, right? It is different from one place to the other. In Canada, we have a very bizarre system. The country where we have lots of time changes. I'm in Ontario, then I take my lunch at 12 o'clock. So the next state, when you fly almost 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half, the state called Manitoba, 1 hour behind us. Then the other state, Saskatchewan, they have the same timing zone. The other state, Alberta, they are half an hour, maybe 2 hours and a half behind us. And Vancouver, British Columbia, they have a 3 hours difference. So it depends. So the idea is that it is not 12 o'clock, but you set it as 12 o'clock here in Asia. So it's okay, 12 o'clock. So we are trying to aim at 12 o'clock, right? That's the plan, how we are going to do. But there are many conditions we are not able to include this idea. Let's say you take a flight from here to somewhere. Where is your time? How do you decide your time? Tell me. Let's say you take precept now, and then in next couple of hours, you are going to take a flight. You want to keep the precepts. How do you decide your time? Tell me. You can't do it. Because at that time there were no flights. People were not traveling from one place to the other place that fast. So that's why we have to, if you are in a certain place, we respect 12 o'clock in that particular place. If not, you have to understand in the context. Let's say 12 o'clock is fine. Because it's good to have a time, otherwise someone will eat until 12:15, someone will until 12:24, someone will eat until 1 o'clock, right? So it's going to be a very big issue, right? Do we consider wearing a stainless steel necklace with amulets on it and adornment? It is similar question. Now the idea is to spend a normal life, but I'm sure that you're wearing some necklaces. It's okay, I assume. So the whole idea is at that time, people were practicing 8 precepts for many days, not one day. In that case, they were trying to remove those things, adornments for those days. Whether I can survive without those adornments. But for a day or two, it should be okay. In my understanding, I think we have to practice this probably by limiting our attachment to the jewelries during the time, right? Let's say you have earrings, probably you can't take them out that easy. You are not supposed to take them out, right? Maybe if you take them out for many days, then you can't put them back again, right? It's painful, right? You know that, what it is. So why you want to take them out? Maybe you keeping them, you are trying to reduce your attachment to the earrings. That is also one way to look at it. What about watches? Same thing. We are wearing a watch not to beautify our hand, right? Just to find the timing, right? So I think they are okay. You should not think too much about it. Extremes. Don't be extreme. Can you share depression therapy? Yeah, it is a psychological, psychiatric word. Yes, when you don't know how to handle your challenges, you will go to this level. So Buddha says we have to handle with challenges even before anything becomes a challenge. Clear your backlogs, do things on time, so you are minimizing any challenges, thereby you are not going to the depression. A lot of people, they don't keep up with these things. They are waiting till that becomes a very big issue in their life, so they are depressed at that point. So you have to do things in time, so then these things will not come to us. How to be good to parents practicing favoritism among siblings and creating a lot of frustration and stress with no end. What sutta to overcome such sufferings, and how will the parents change? I think this is not a special situation. In each family, normally parents have a favorite kid. It is normal, not a special thing. It is their way, you know. Maybe they have normally the last child, isn't it? Probably the last child. Maybe a boy in the family. We don't know. Maybe a girl. Mostly boys, huh? Parents pick a boy. Anyways, so even if you go to Oedipus complex, who's Sigmund Freud's Oedipus complex, Electrata complex, it says that the mother likes son and then father likes daughter. They are creating certain what you call attachments to those people. It is normal. It is involuntary. So you don't have to suffer from this. I think you must be somebody who is expecting lots of love from your mom and dad. Equally, the way how the mother and father give into that particular child. This happens. You are not alone. Don't worry. So you are not, the person who asked this question, you are not alone. I think most of us have this. We don't have to care about it. Why we expect love from other people? Right? Because that is a normal thing. For a normal thing, we don't need to be upset about it, right? Because even what you're going to do to your parents, they will not be changed too. Then they will try to explain to you why we like that child more than you, and you'll be so frustrated at that point. Don't ask that from parents. You'll be more unhappy at that point. You're asking a sutta. Sutta is that understanding different people are loving differently. And then parents are different too. Do your part, and then I hope that you will find the love that you are looking for, maybe at least from somebody. And then at the same time, trying to understand different people, right? Rather than thinking that I must get it, I should get it, and then don't make it a problem. It's not a problem. It's a normal, very normal state of mind that many parents are having, right? Because they have a lot of sannyas after many years of raising children. Then finally they are becoming vulnerable to one sanya. That sanya is the favorite kid. Yeah. Is walking meditation considered and meditation or mindfulness? When walk with my eyes open, I have to be aware of my surroundings. If it is that's not clear, can I then just practice walking? Somebody asked me this question in different ways today. Actually, I wanted to tell you, why do we practice walking meditation? What is the purpose? When we are walking, we have to stay alert. We have to open our eyes. We are walking to understand what is happening with our walking. Normally, we don't pay attention to, right? When we are walking, we don't pay attention. We are walking to do something else. But today and yesterday, we are walking to see how I am walking, not just to see my style, but to understand what is happening while I am walking. Then what will happen? The more I understand how my walking is going on, then I feel more concentrated about it. That concentration will bring me calmness. That calmness is very necessary to observe your akusala states in your thoughts. Purpose is to watch akusala states with whatever the posture you are taking. It will be directing to understanding your akusala states. Akusala states. Because our meditation, Buddhist meditation, will go down to akusala states at the end. We not find any relaxation in the West. Relaxation, stress reduction, they all are part of dukkha experience. We are trying to find out how we are handling our akusalas. Can we trace them? Can we notice them before they become a big problem in our life? So, akusala states. The purpose of walking meditation, the near expectation is to feel calm. The far expectation is to watch our akusala, how our akusala. Actually, what do you think about when you are walking at other times? Are you walking with anger sometimes? Tell me. Then you can minimize that anger if you pay attention to walking. Because I don't want to carry my anger, I have to pay attention to my walking. So when you pay attention to walking, that anger will go away. Because you are walking to do something with anger. Right? Are you sometimes walking with lots of greed? I want to keep possessing my stuff. I want to make more stuff. Yes. So when you are paying attention, while having that focus too in a different way, you can minimize your akusala, unskillful states. Yes, you have to be aware about surrounding. I think I told you. You have to see things, you have to hear, but you are not labeling them. Right? You have to know where you are walking. Oh, this is a little bit a different question. I saw 6 big dogs in BMB. Can monk keep dogs? Oh my God. Right. Let me have a sip of drink. So, this is a question about whether monks can keep dogs. Well, anybody can keep dogs, but it depends on the person. Right? It depends. So, I think you know what we are talking here. So we don't want to comment on this. It is up to the person. I don't know what you mean by keeping dogs. Sometimes in a forest monastery also there are dogs, right? There are dogs. We had a retreat. I had a retreat last weekend at Brahma Vihara Monastery in Malacca. I think there was a lady over here who was there at that time, and there are dogs too. There are different reasons. I mean, there may have different reasons. When a temple is becoming kind of urbanized place, there are different ways how people look at it. So what I can say is that this is an individualistic question, so we're not going to comment on this. What I can think is that there are people who like to keep animals. There are others who like to help animals, but not going nearer the animals, but they spend money on the animals, those things. So, yeah, that's what I can think about it. Bhante mentioned 2 days retreat should be coupled with 7-8 days of practice. Can Bhante elaborate more on it? It's a very simple thing what I said. I said, when you come for a 2-day retreat, now you are getting lot of information, isn't it? Lot of information. But actually in my retreats, I only highlight certain things. I don't want to bombard with lot of information. Only certain important things. Now we specifically talk about gratitude. Yesterday morning we talked about gratitude in the sutta, and then we had a discussion about how gratitude works in our life with Uncle Vijay. We only talk about that. This is a thematic. Normally my retreats are thematic retreats. So what I can say is that when you come to this kind of retreat, then after today, Sunday, you must take time, at least couple days, at least 7 to 14 days, at least, to think about what he was talking. How are they going to relate to my life? And then to make it a practice in the long run. Right? So that is how you are getting the full benefit of this practice. Otherwise, you're wasting your time here for 2 days. So that's why I suggest you learning. You are practicing a little bit here, but the full version of practice is on the way. So please bring this Dhamma to your house, plant it in your own practice. When coming to day retreat, would it be easier for us to keep the 5 precepts instead of 8 precepts? Well, it depends. Now I did a retreat at a university, and I think they don't need 8 precepts. They are children, teenagers. Right? They are what you call a time of their focus is very low. You know, the teenagers, they are going here, right? So I have to understand that. So in that kind of a retreat, I normally give 5 precepts for them. Plus they are not more into suttas, the sutta level teachings. But you are not young adults, most of you. So you really want to know what Buddha taught, what Buddha said to us. You really want to follow. It's not psychology. It's not psychotherapy. You want to know what Buddha said about all these things. So then, in order to understand that kind of level of Buddhism, it is better to take some extra precepts just to calm yourself, discipline yourself, so you getting more motivated, interested into that, whoever the Bhante is talking, in this case me, what is he teaching. So you are getting ready, preparing you with that kind of 8 precepts. That's why I gave 8 precepts. Bhante says we should not eat till we are full. Not Bhante Chandima says, Buddha says. Don't try to point me. The Buddha says, Chattaro pancha alope abutta udakampive. He says in Donapaka Sutta, Sangyutta Nikayas. Maybe we can go find out. I'll show you. Donapaka Sutta. I think we should be able to get the screen. Yeah, should be able to, probably. Yes. Okay. A bucket of rice, huh? The sutta is Donapaka Sutta, Sangyutta Nikaya 3.13. In what is probably the world's first weight loss diet. When Kosala king shows up overweight and out of breath, the Buddha advises him to cut down his eating. He gives a verse to one of the king's attendants and asks him to recite it whenever the king eats. Let's see the translation. See, the translation is missing something over here. Yeah, the idea is manujassa sada satimato mattang janato ladda bhojane. The exact idea is coming from another sutta. I think I will have to find it out. Here you can see it. When a man, human, is always mindful, knowing the moderation in eating, his or her discomfort fades, he ages slowly. Buddha talks about rejuvenation, anti-aging kind of thinking here. Is this anti-aging? Yes. Then how will you bring anicca here? Now when you go to a shop cosmetic shop, they're all selling anti-aging, very expensive, huh? Anti-aging stuff, anti-aging body soap, anti-aging creams. He says, then you will age slowly, taking care of your life. Are we supposed to grow old very fast? No. Buddha said, no, you are not supposed to. There are people who understand the misunderstood version of Buddhism, saying that everything is anicca, so it is okay to get old very fast. Right? You don't have to, because when you age slowly, you can practice more Dhamma. Do you think you can practice the same way as you practiced when you were young time, when you were getting very old? Not by age, by body? You are not. You can't sit down. Thoughts are not coming to you. You might have some cognitive dysfunctions. So what? Then let yourself age slowly by eating in the proper way. Now the proper way is moderation. What is the proper way? Do not fill your tummy with the food and drinks. Leave 4 to 5 morsels. Chattaro pancha alope abutva udakampive. Yeah, this is somewhere. Chattaro pancha alope abutva udakampive. So the Buddha says, leaving 4 to 5 morsels of food, drink water instead. Thereby, that is the way you're going to work with anti-aging. Huh? You will age slowly. Very interesting. All right. Then Bhante says we should not, Buddha says, we should not eat till we are full, leave 4 to 5 morsels behind. Will this not be wastage of food? Who asked you to bring lots of food? You are the one who make a bucket of rice. Maybe you don't know how to cook for the people inside the house. Sometimes this happens in some countries. They make a very, they make a full of rice with the rice cooker. And now they are saying, we are going to waste the rice. Who asked you to make that much of rice? Then somebody has to eat it, becoming sick. So you have to plan how much you're going to cook today. That is up to you. There are a lot of things in today's world, measuring cups, many things. Use them and cook appropriately in right content. Otherwise, you are going to be in conflict with the Buddha's idea, you know. So, if you're going to order food from a restaurant, order only appropriately, enough food, not too much. You can order later. There are people who want to order everything and then finally cannot finish food and then blaming everybody, you see. Maybe a better restaurant is somewhere else, right? So, practice this, leave 4 to 5 morsels, drink water. When I meditate, do I feel, hear and see? Is this common to all? What meditation are you talking about? Is this breath meditation? At that point, you are bringing more focus onto the breath. Yes, you feel, you can see, but the feeling, seeing all have to be channeled toward the watching the breath part. Now, when you watch your breath, you may feel some vayu dhatu coming through your nostrils. Sometimes wind touches your body, you can feel. But you are not going to be driven by the wind. I can feel the breath, what you call air here. But my focus is watching the breath part. So people will experience, but they are not supposed to label until you finish the meditation part. It's common. When practice gratitude meditation, we start with thinking the universe. What are the best ways to end to list to show our gratitude? The Buddha, starting from the universe and ending with the Buddha. That is what we understand, because everything that we are enjoying now, benefiting, come from the universe, and then we have a huge respect for the Buddha. Gratitude. Do we include ourselves in the gratitude? Yes, definitely. Now, when I say in the practice, what do you mean by I'm grateful to the entire universe. Actually, it includes everything. It has everything. But normally when we are grateful to others first, right? That is how we do it, right? I'm grateful to others. Then we are grateful to our things. We are coming down. After the teachers, we come down. My opportunities, my health, my wisdom. Yeah, so we are. You could say, you could start with spreading gratitude to you in the first place too. But when you say you are grateful to the universe, that has your part too. With my due respect and appreciation, could I Bhante, to kindly, clearly, what is really meant when it was that right concentration in the 4 jhanas? When one has the 5 jhanic factors, does it mean that one has right concentration but not necessarily the 4 jhanas? One experience joy. I think it's more about the jhanas. Now, right concentration starts from the jhanas, but after the jhanas, that person is going to shift the focus onto what? Onto the vipassana attitude, right? The sutta is Attaka Nagara Sutta. Attaka Nagara Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. You see that jhanas may be the initial practice, but later on you are going to shift that jhanas onto vipassana. But Hindu practice, they don't. They just enjoy the happiness of the jhanas. But right concentration is not merely the 4 jhanas. You start with the 4 jhanas, but you end with the vipassana attitude. Is meditation a must to the Dhamma journey? Yes. But not the meditation that you might be seeing in the world. What is meditation? Tell me. Very interesting question. What is meditation according to Buddhism? Cultivation. Cultivation of kusala thoughts. There's a very funny, whimsical cartoon long time ago. There was a dog sleeping next to a man, and the man was sitting like you. And then dog was asking a question, what are you doing? He said, I'm meditating. Oh, without even moving. Yes. What about me? I've been doing the same posture for more than you. You came here to stay for 4 or 5 hours. I've been doing for 15, 16 hours like this. What makes you different from me? Then he could not answer the question of the dog. Right? He couldn't answer. Then the answer is that you are not moving like, maybe you are better than me, but what is happening in your thoughts while you are like this? You are thinking about the food, you are thinking about who is coming to invade your territory, right? You are so sensitive to your sounds. Dogs are very sensitive to their sounds, right? But I am not just staying here without moving. At the same time, I have to more focus on my kusala thoughts. I am practicing more metta, karuna, mudita, upekka. That is the difference. So meditation is a must, but the meditation that a lot of people think, only going for a retreat and then you meditate, it's only one fraction of that practice. We have to have this meditation as an attitude. Our meditation finally should become an attitude. Metta is not simply a meditation. It is an attitude. Karuna should be an attitude. Because when you work with different peoples, they have their different attitudes, right? Sometimes they are Dhamma friends, but their attitudes are little different. They are not kind enough, but they meditate a lot, but not kind enough. Why is it? What's wrong with them? Tell me. Not everybody, yeah? Majority should be okay. But some are meditating a lot, but not kind enough. No kindness. When you ask a question, they become very angry. They become mad. They become grumpy. Why is it? They have not learned the proper way to practice meditation because it's a part of our Noble Eightfold Path. In the Noble Eightfold Path, you cannot jump to the meditation right away. You have to start with the Sammaditthi. A person who is truly meditating is a very kind person, understanding others very much, facilitating. That is the plan of our practice. Huh? Not that you are going to say to somebody after today, 5 o'clock, that I'm better than you in meditation, because I spent 2 days of meditation at Mahavihara. You guys are just playing here, you don't know what we're doing. We learn gratitude for 2 days. Do you know what it is? Yeah, great. No, it's something else. So somebody can go that way, If you don't understand the kindness, we don't have to impose on others, It is our life, our spiritual journey. So finally, as you meditate, you are going to be a very open-minded, fully understanding, very kind person who has more metta, who has more karuna, who has more mudita, and then who you might perhaps go into the upekka level also. You can balance out your thoughts. Nobody can hurt you. When you have upekka, nobody can hurt you. Who are then normally getting hurt? Those who have less upekka. What is upekka? Not being overwhelmed when you are complimented or when you are criticized. Right? So those people who are getting very upset, who are getting very mad about how other people treat them, they are mostly, I'm talking very minor frustrations, a big one. They are mostly the ones who have not learned about upekka. Upekka people can easily tolerate, understand. Right? How do they tolerate? Tell me, with upekka. Let's say 10:48 a.m. now. Somebody is going to blame, A is going to blame B. Criticize, bad mouth. In presence. Then A thinks, I was blamed by this person. Never happened to me. Such a bad person. Then going to maybe return the same thing to the other person. Not happy about it. But there's another person who is thinking, yes, I was blamed, but now 10:49. I was blamed at 10:48. That was my previous self. That previous self is not existing anymore. Why do I hold on to my previous self? Thinking, using anicca in the best format, in the turbo mood, I say. Using anicca in the turbo version. That's why people don't understand that. People think, no, 10:48 myself and 10:49 myself, they are not two people. There's a permanent self going on. When you understand that, you can practice. You don't care about. Don't show that you don't care. They might escalate more and more. But you are a happy person. You don't care about these things. Nobody can shake you. Right? So meditation we are teaching from the early suttas is a normal practice. Don't think that you have to do it according to how other people do all the time. Make it a normal thing. You can do 5-minute normal meditation and bring that attitude, bring that meditation practice as an attitude during the day. How do I focus during meditation? How do I focus? That is what we've been telling you. Guided meditation, how to sit, how to relax. That whole process is focusing. Right? If you are one of them here, then you know how we've been doing. So evening also we are doing. How long do I need to practice? Practice lifelong. If you are asking meditation, then it doesn't matter how long you practice. What matters is the quality. Otherwise you will become the dog version. Dogs are better than you because they are sitting very still. They are not even moving. What is going on in their mind? Even some cats. Very still. They are planning. Cranes. Cranes who are going to catch a fish. They are staying in one position for long. Right? They are planning a lot. I think I shared with some of you an example from Sri Lanka a long time ago. one man noticed a crocodile was going up in a tree, jumping into the river next to the bank tree. He saw 4-5 days the crocodile is doing this thing, maybe an alligator. Then he could not go to the same place at the same time after a couple of days. Then he heard one man was taken by the crocodile. The crocodile was training, rehearsing. He understood there was a man who is coming to the river at the same time. So he's trying to rehearse how to take this prey. Lot of meditation. Can you do that? Crocodile doesn't look at the clock. He knows that he has his own time. He checked, he rehearses, finally he took him. So animals are much better than us if you talk about not standing, not moving. They are pretty focused on what they do. But akusala thoughts, they are akusalas, right? I'm not saying animals are akusalas, but what is going on in their mindset are akusalas. So it doesn't matter how long. If you are talking about sitting practice, definitely anapanasati for some time. Otherwise, meditation is a practice you are going to do at all times, while eating, while cooking, driving, talking to someone, even being silent. It is a widespread practice. It is not only a sitting practice. That's a misunderstanding. Right? How to drive mindfully? Tell me. You can drive mindfully. You know where you're going. Some people don't know where they're going. They get lost in the way. Yeah? Right? Sometimes when they drive, they listen to unnecessary things. They become very calm and then they don't know how to keep the mindfulness on the road. Your mindfulness has to be on the road, not on a certain version of audio you can listen to, but more focus on the road. Cooking, one of the best meditations. For those who are not cooking, you can start cooking from today to practice meditation. Right? It's not just it's a skill. And doing dishes, if you are very unfriendly with doing dishes, that's also a very good meditation. Why is it? Suppose you don't have a dishwasher in your house, and then you are trying to wash these dishes. You see the stain, you see the dirty stuff attached to the plates. You see that my mind also like this, right? I'm properly cleaning them, so my mind will become concentrated, right? What is easier? Go to a vihar and go to participate in a retreat, or wash the dishes and practice meditation? So these are choices. I mean, you do all these things. What are the other ways to practice meditation? Wearing jewelries, do your cosmetic things, makeup. You know what will happen to you when you don't use the makeup. You think about it, right? All these are changing. When I'm young, I have to dress properly. I have to wear these things. But I know there is a time that I will not be young anymore. Right? Understanding that, you get dressed properly. You wear them properly. Not that not wearing them, now I think even I'm young, I'm not going to wear them. Because anyways, I'm going to be old. Then when you're old, you can't wear them. Right? So the Buddha's idea is use every moment, any activity as a meditation. It's not just a sitting practice. That's why people hate meditating. Some people. When you talk about meditation, they don't like it. Why? I don't like to sit on the floor. Who told you to sit down? Buddhist meditation is a practice you're going to do at all times. At times we sit down, but most of the time we bring awareness to whatever we are doing. Can Buddhists go fishing on a boat or on the beach and cook their catch and eat them? What a funny question is that, but it's... Then my question is, then the people in the Baffin Bay, Arctic, they can never be Buddhist. What do you think about? Those who are in the, Scandinavian countries, especially people who are living in the north, they don't have vegetables. So how can they survive? They can't. They will never be Buddhist they will be so-called religious. So this is, let's say, this is, what do you call, this is, I don't know why you are doing this. Maybe you are doing this as a hobby. Who are you referring to here? Fishing can be a job, or fishing can be a fun activity. I don't know which one you are referring to. If it is a fun activity, definitely avoid it. You don't have to make fun with these animals. Nowadays, there are high gadgets. You can even trace the fish with the GPS. Where are the GPS living, you know, right? So, I mean, if you really want to be concerned about this, don't make it as a fun activity. But if you are a person who is involved in the fisheries industry, that is a different thing, right? So we have to look at it a little differently, right? I wonder how a monk is going to a fisheries village and giving a Dhamma talk that, hey, you can't catch fish from today. Think about it. And I think you will find the answer. I hope they will serve the monk at that point. When sending metta, we always include, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Wouldn't this include all living beings? Yes, by the end. If so, why the monk sending the metta still attacked by the snake? He forgot to include this. Very good question. Let me explain to you. Now, when we say may all livings be well and happy, quite often the message might not go to specific individuals. Some individuals might not be felt. Then why don't you practice metta to you? Can you say one prayer? May all livings be well and happy, including me. Does it work? It won't work. So you have to unpack the recipients in this thing, in this metta practice. So what happened to the monk was that there is a certain prior level of metta before you go to the all living beings. You have to specifically focus on the difficult people in the area. So he did not include them. Normally we say, may I be well and happy, peaceful, may my family, friends, and then there should have a certain layer about difficult beings. In that difficult being, yes, animals, these some vicious animals, maybe an elephant, maybe. So he has to understand who are the animals in the area, in the temple area. He did not. So he directly went to the all living beings. They did not feel it. Some can feel, the strong beings can feel, divine beings can feel, but normal beings cannot feel it. So we have to bring them in the spotlight of our meditation. Let's say you have a difficult person in the household, very difficult to handle that person. Always whining, complaints, and all that. So then you don't include that person. So that person will not feel it, right? How does that person feel it? When you do it, you are unpacking, you are removing certain anger to that person. If you have an anger, you cannot bring that person into the practice. So you are healing in the first place. And you are sending the signals to the radiation to the other person. So it's very important to include. But some, I have heard, some have been advised not to include enemies. Who asked you to include enemies? Don't call them enemies. They are difficult people. Difficult people to work with. We should not have enemies in our life, okay? Never make enemies. It's pretty bad. We have difficult people to work with. Difficult to talk, difficult to, what do you call? Tell me your own version. Difficult to love, difficult to take care, difficult to understand. They are difficult people. They are good people, but difficult to work with those people, right? So then we are including them as difficult people rather than not enemies. That's a pretty bad version. Enemies are really dangerous. So the monk was attacked because he did not bring the snakes into the difficult people category. How important or significant to specify the person's name, living beings groups when sending? It's important, especially the difficult ones should be a little bit highlighted. That's why the Buddha said, Virupakkehi me mettang mettang era patehi me chabya puttehi me mettang mettang kanha gotamake. Why did he mention these names? Because it's important to bring these names into that. Now, when you say the names, you must know the meaning of these names. Long time ago, I checked this list. I found out Buddha talks about pythons in one category, and then the black snakes in one category, and vipers in one category, cobras in one category. So that means there are different snakes and reptiles that are part of this list. So when you think about these 4 categories, all the snakes are enough, sufficiently inform your metta practice. But don't think that while doing this, that you want to take a risk and go to some snakes and see whether snakes will bite me or not. Don't take that risk, right? Don't try to check whether they are okay with you. But you should be okay. I just tell you, that's a certain guarantee. When we are at new foreign places, not knowing what beings are around, what is the best way to send metta, you inquire about the surround. Normally when you go to a foreign place to stay many months, you normally inquire from the people. Who are the other beings here? Are there some other animals? Then you will know who are those people. They will advise you, right? So then you can include them. Is gratitude temporal? If yes, no, it is not temporary, not temporal, because it's something that we have to keep in our mind lifelong, maybe sansarically. If we show gratitude to parents, teachers, and as time passes we forget, is that bad? If you are talking about age, that's a different thing, but normally we are not supposed to forget about things other people did to us. Then you are not katanyu anymore, right? You can't remember what they did. Unless you have Alzheimer, maybe dementia, you have cognitive benefits at that time. Otherwise, you are supposed to. Another aspect, if a child loses parents early over the years, the child forgets the parent, is that ingratitude? I don't think so. What do you mean by, maybe still that child can be advised by somebody to think about parents. He may not have the same attitude like you, whom have parents, but he will find out, or she will find out a way to think about his or her parents. How this child show gratitude today? He will show in his own way. She will show in his own way. As I said yesterday, people are differently good. Don't tell them to be good in the same way. So let's accept different people's good in different ways. Why do I tend to fall asleep during meditation? Couple reasons. One is maybe you have not slept enough last night. You have a medical problem. Maybe you don't know how to practice meditation. Don't know which one is affecting you. So each one has certain aspects. You should rest enough to meditate. You should have if you have a medical condition, go see a doctor. Then if you don't know how to proceed, you should approach the teacher. You can approach me, and then we will see what you can do. Why don't my mind wander? Why does my mind wanders during meditation? It is because you are still alien to the meditation. Maybe you are still a beginner, newbie, or you are not following the proper instructions. Right? So level of your practice, maybe you are not following the correct procedure. Better to meet the teacher. During meditation, am I supposed to see total darkness or brightness? True? No, you don't have to. Actually, when we are meditating as a progressive step of the meditation, we will see certain things. Rocks floating, rotating, levitating. Don't get caught up with those things. Just continue your meditation. So don't try to see whether there is a brightness or calm or darkness. Then you will go away from the meditation. There is a deviation. I'm doing my daily practice at home. I would like to know the way to sustain my discipline, my practice consistently. Yeah, Noble Eightfold Path. Just try to practice Noble Eightfold Path practice simultaneously. That is how, it's a very specific thing. I can respond to you if you meet me in person. Otherwise, it's a very broad question. So the short answer is try to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. That should be your practice. All right, last two questions. Very interesting. Does the practice of gratitude meditation increase our compassion and wisdom? Very interesting question. Actually, when we are grateful, we can be compassionate easily. Right? When we are grateful to everything, everyone, then we can practice compassion easily. And what you call wisdom will swells out of that gratitude. Right? So we should have gratitude, compassion to come up with the wisdom practice. Wisdom does not go alone. It has to come with gratitude and compassion. So definitely gratitude practice increases compassion and wisdom. Must we do a long meditation practice daily? I don't think so. It is not the quantity of the time that you meditate, it's the quality that you need in meditation. First, understand meditation is not a sitting practice always. It is a practice that you bring to your daily activities. So if so, then let's say you are sleeping for 7 hours, if you are lucky enough, then 16, 15 hours you are on meditation. You do 5 minutes of sitting meditation, then for all the other activities you are bringing meditation. What meditation? Awareness. Awareness. You bring awareness to cooking, driving, eating, talking. What will happen to people who don't bring awareness to talking? They lie to other people, they hurt other people, they gossip, they divide people. Why? They don't have awareness. It's so important to bring awareness to all these things. And bring awareness to your eating, then what will happen to you? You will eat in moderation. Otherwise you will keep eating until the big mess will happen to you finally, yeah? Sicknesses, all the problems. And then what if you bring awareness to other activities? Tell me other activities which you can bring awareness, which means meditation. There are many other activities. All these activities can be brought into meditation. Yeah. Awareness is what you are bringing with meditation. The plan of meditation, the immediate plan is awareness. Try to understand what I am doing at the moment. That is awareness. Yeah, mindfulness is a broader term. Actually, we are not trying to be only mindful in the sati practice. In this, the Buddha uses the word called sati. Sati, but a lot of people translate this word to be mindfulness. Actually, in the sati practice, we are not only filling the mind. Sometimes we empty the mind, isn't it? We empty the bad thoughts. Sometimes we fill, maybe we empty in and then we fill in. So it is a poor translation to my understanding. When you read in Pali text, that's why we call a better English term could be a bare awareness is what you are bringing in those practices initially. Awareness, what am I doing at the moment? But we pick up the English word mindfulness, many people are using that word. We have to be aware of what's happening. During the gratitude meditation, do we say out all our gratitudes, visualizing all of it and repeating it during our... Yeah, I think visualizing can help because you can remember how someone went out of their way to, went out of their way to help us. That moment, I was very helpless, but somebody, a good Samaritan came and helped me, and nobody could help me at that point. Right? I think you may all have had those occasions in your life. You never expected. You were so hopeless, helpless, but somebody came out on the road, never expected. Right? Maybe one of my parents, teachers, friends in my past life came and helped me out. So visualize. It will also help you to stay in this practice. All right, that's all the questions. So any other questions that I can take from the floor so far? You can come to the mic and you can ask. We have probably 10-15 minutes. Yeah, mic is over there if you want to ask. Yeah, here. I think you have to turn on the mic. That's from the back. Yeah, just keep pressing.
Hello, Bhante.
Yes. If not, you can take this mic. Easier, right? Yeah, better. Take this mic.
Can. Okay.
It's okay, just mount it there.
Yeah. Bhante, I hope I can make myself coherent. Just now you mentioned that in early Buddhism, what Buddha teaches is, where meditation is concerned, is just meditation. Just that in the 16th century and so, as a result of colonization, so the term vipassana came about. And then just now, later on, you mentioned that first you start off with a certain posture and you go into the vipassana posture. So I'm a bit confused about that.
Because I'm using the word again, huh?
Yes.
I'm tricking all of you. Let me explain to you. Yeah, you can keep it. No, the Pali word vipassana has been loosely mentioned in other places. Because you know what vipassana already is. Anicca, dukkha, anatta perspective. Right? So I was trying to say, how does samatha work in the practice of meditation? So what we have to understand here is that, let's say our meditation, what we've been doing here, anapanasati. So up to the point of calmness, watching the breath and you be calm. That, in their way, it's samatha. In their way. In their way, Pali commentaries and in the moment. And then from watching part, how you watch rising, staying, going, that is in their way vipassana. But I don't have to separate them. I just say anapanasati meditation. In that meditation, you are practicing the both meditations. Those so-called meditations. That's it. I use because you know those words easily. So then I incorporate them, but I don't have to mention them, but I said them, then you understand what is it. So anapanasati meditation includes all these aspects. Does it make clear? Any other questions about gratitude meditation, the things that we discussed already?
Bhante, may I know how do we link Katanuka, gratitude, to the 4 Brahmas Viharas? Because as I'm sitting there and I'm recollecting about the gratitude, and I tend to find that I'm separating loving compassion, metta, from gratitude. I find it, there is so, I can actually draw a line between those two. I feel gratitude, but I don't feel metta for that action. Same thing, I can feel loving compassion, metta for that person, but I don't feel gratitude. So is it, I'm not sure whether am I feeling cold-hearted or what? It's like, yeah, I'm grateful for you helping me, but I don't feel loving compassion for you. That's how I'm getting that feeling as I'm sitting there contemplating gratitude.
The way you are asking the question, I feel you are soft-hearted. So, first of all, let me say, Katanyuta is another word for mudita. So you don't have to separate Brahmaviharas from Katanyuta. Mudita is the larger, broader practice of Katanyuta. I just separated out just to bring this in an innovative way. But mudita is Katanyuta. Katanyuta is more direct. It's a loaded word actually. To know what other people done. But mudita is the activity that we do when we know other people have helped us. It's a part of Katanyuta. So the bigger, larger word is mudita. So this meditation is nothing new but the mudita. Altruistic joy. Because you are going to appreciate people who have helped you. Second is that you said, sometimes, at times you feel metta, but you don't feel mudita for them. So it should be the same way. Because metta is not mudita, right? Isn't it? Metta cannot be mudita. You can spread metta to anybody, but can you send mudita easily to someone? Not easily. Somebody has to help you. Now in the metta practice, we do for everybody, whom we know, whom we don't know. Right? But in terms of mudita, you must have someone to have helped you in your life. So then I think it is a normal situation. I think I yesterday told you metta is the basic one. Karuna is a step further. Mudita is more difficult than all those two. And upekka is the highest. So you can't feel all that at the same time if you only look at the first level things with the rest of the one. We feel metta for everybody, but karuna for specific people, specific person only when we are informed about their problem, suffering. Mudita for somebody who really has helped us, right? And then upekka, we should have a very good development of our practice in terms of feelings, vedana. So it is normal not to feel mudita at the same time when you are having metta, because it's a very fundamental, basic quality in the Brahma Vihara. Make sense? All right. Any other questions? Yes, after.
Bhante, right? When someone do something for us, all right, do good to us, and we feel very grateful. We have a lot of gratitude. There's always a tendency like you want to repay the person, right? How do we do that? Or is there a must, or is there a need that we must repay? I think in our culture, we always feel that saying thank you is not enough. We need to repay in some other form.
In your culture?
A lot of times we say thank you, but sometimes there's a feeling of like we need to repay in some other form.
Yeah. Very good question. Do we have to pay? Actually, we don't have to incur amount of debt gratitude in terms of debt. We're going to go and have free lunch with somebody and we don't pay back, and then we get help from other people, but we don't care about those. I think it is not good. So if situations arise where you are helped by someone, definitely you need to help them, but the way how you're going to help them is very individualistic. You have to find out the way how to do it. But evading from the repayment is no good. The collection will come in the next life. Now, when you don't pay the credit card, then they will give your information to the collection company. They are following us, right? Until you claim the bankruptcy. But when I think there is a story about someone who got a lot of help from somebody, but he did not pay in a sutta story, Dhampada story, I think. Then what happened? In order to repay back, he had to become a dog in his house. Interesting story, yeah? Because you might evade the repayment in this life, but you will pay next being somebody to his or her life. Because sometimes there are people who curse. Huh? I help, but these people don't care about me. They are cursing too sometimes. It's no good at the same time. That might come to you, right? So better not to get a lot of help from other people. It is also good, right? Why do we get help from other people if we can do something for us? There are people who always want in the other people help, isn't it? They don't learn how to drive. They always call, can you give me a ride? And then, like, you can learn some stuff and then become a little bit independent. So you can minimize the help you are getting from others. But there are circumstances we may have to depend on others. If so, then find out a way how to repay. Don't die without repaying other people. That's pretty bad. Because then you will have to pay them in the sansara. When it becomes a sansara debt, it's going to be a very tough thing for you, right? And this happens to some people. When the spouse passes away, people are coming to the house saying that your spouse borrowed some loans from me. This happens. I know one situation. There was one man whose wife passed away. He got a bunch of people coming to the house. Your wife got money from us. You have to pay now, right? It became a very big issue to that man. Maybe they are scammers. Maybe she borrowed money, right? That's why we have to minimize the list of borrowing from other people, money, other things. So we are not bringing issues to the other living beings when we pass away. That is one thing about this life. On the other hand, don't carry your debt to other people, to the sansara. Let me tell you one thing. For the monks, nuns, monastics, they have something called inner paribhoga. What is inner paribhoga? The Buddha said you should never eat devotees' food without thanking and reflecting them. If you do that, you're becoming a thief to their food and the clothing, shelter, vihara, kuti, everything. Inner paribhoga. Inner means you're becoming someone who has debt, D-E-B-T. So in the same way, if the Buddha said like that, then lay people have to understand in their life, when you are borrowing, when you are getting help from someone, you need to help return in the positive, proper way. All right, I think Jenny's question, and we will, yes, 2 more questions and we will finish. Getting ready for the dana. Yes.
Bhante,
Yeah.
because yesterday when you teach us on the gratitude meditation, you started with anapana.
Yeah,
and
even
then
today.
shift.
Even today, yeah.
Yeah, but I've previously tried also gratitude meditation. Based on my own experience, I notice I can calm down with starting on the gratitude meditation, then slowly moving into the breath. I find that it's easier for me, starting with gratitude, then going into the anapana. So what is your opinion?
Well, you can start from the dessert and go to eat the main. You can either start from appetizer, main and entree, go to the dessert. Same thing, right? But what we understand is that calmness is difficult for many. In your case, I think you feel that you can go to gratitude. But I think it's better to calm and then to shift the focus. Because let me show you, Attaka Nagara Sutta. Please read this sutta. Attaka Nagara. Majjhima Nikaya 52. This sutta has, you can see, Venerable Ananda explains no less than 11 states that serve the doors, entry gates to the Nibbana. So, in each meditation, what we understand is a little bit of calmness is necessary. There are people who can directly go to watching the breath. But if you are not calm enough, how come you are going to watch the breath? Not very easy, right? That's not very easy. But for a specific person, that might be okay. If you think that it is easy for you, then you can go to that thing. But the problem is, Why you have to go to Anapanasati again if you are already calm with gratitude? That's another question, right? That raises another question. We practice Anapanasati just to calm us. Now I understand you are already calm, that's why you start with gratitude meditation. Then what is the purpose of going back to Anapanasati? So that is something to think about.
Maybe I have a lot of restlessness. So I notice with gratitude, when I sit down and I, be grateful with all the things that I have, or, to people that help me, then my mind can calm down more easily rather than I just go down and sit and looking at the breath. And also I notice I can't work easily with the breath. I don't know why. I always struggle with the in and out, and it's not natural to me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you have your own reasons for that.
Yeah, maybe
So-
that's the hindrances to me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So if you think your mind is always going here and there, then try to work on Anapanasati on a side. That will really help you. Yeah, so, and also don't forget to think that when I say shifting the focus means, now while watching the breath, we are shifting. But don't forget to watch your breath in a certain way on the side also. Right? It has to also go, otherwise you never know what's happening to your breath. So it has to happen on a side, but at the same time, with that calmness, you are grateful to other people. Yeah, if you think it's good, you can do it. But I normally recommend the other way for others. I think others might feel that is easier for them, calmness and then to shift. But in your case, but if you say that you are struggling with Anapanasati, I think better to work on that too. Okay. Yes, last question. Yes, please. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante. Just to add to the question the sister asked about gratitude and repaying gratitude. If I help a fellow devotee, a female devotee, and she show gratitude later on by buying a token, a gift as a gratitude, and then it follow on with another token or gift as gratitude, and then it progress on with other casual conversation. Will that progress to like sensual or emotional attachment later on? Misunderstood in that way?
I think different people repay differently. Right? Sometimes, let's say there is someone who cannot afford to buy something in the same way. He or she was helped earlier, but say this is what I can afford. Right? There are some others who have a different way of paying gratitude. So I think we have to understand how different people pay gratitude, repay. But just because you want to repay, you should not make it a mess as well. Right? Right? That is also a problem. Otherwise, there are other issues that can happen. Right? Let's say now you all are helped by each other, Kalyana Mittas. So you should know maybe a boundary. Everything should have a boundary. Yeah, that's a good term actually. In our Kusala practice, especially when we are dealing with other people, we must have a boundary in that, safe boundary. Because we all are humans. We all are carrying our own akusalas and kusalas differently. So better to create a certain safe boundary in our kusala practice when we are dealing with other people. But in terms of self-practice, you may not need any boundary for that. But I think it is better because let's say you are in a family, you need to keep up with the family, you are working with other people. The answer is when you are practicing repayment with other people, better to create a safe boundary in that practice, in not making it as something that is embarrassing, that is making some issues. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so we are going to finish our Q&A session now. This will be the last talk in our retreat because after the lunch dana, you can see meditation And then we are taking the second batch of walking personal interviews from 1:35 to 4:45. All right, so may all the good karmas we've been making today in the first half of today, especially with the Q&A session, be support you and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now, you can have a short rest at the same time when you, let's say you go to the washroom. Please line up to take your food and then mindfully, calmly come back to this hall. Then we will start the dana. Thank you.